My ex threw acid in my face and my family said I should marry him now. I broke up with Kevin after 2 years because he was suffocating me. He needed to know where I was every second, who I was with, what I was doing. When I told him it was over, he looked at me like I'd stabbed him. You don't mean that, he said, his voice shaking. Yes, I do. We're done. I can't do this anymore. He started crying and begging me to reconsider. I'll change, I promise. Just give me one more chance. I told him I'd given him too many chances already and I needed him to leave. He finally walked out, but I could hear him sobbing in the hallway. The next day, he started calling me 20 times a day. I blocked his number and he showed up at my apartment at midnight banging on the door so hard I thought it would break. Please, just talk to me. I can change. I love you. I called through the door that if he didn't leave, I'd call the police. He finally left, but my hands were shaking for an hour afterward and I couldn't sleep. The next week, he showed up at my work. My coworker came to my desk looking nervous and told me someone was asking for me in the lobby. When I went down there, Kevin was standing by the elevators holding a huge bouquet of roses. I need you to listen to me, he said, immediately grabbing my arm when I tried to walk past him. I pulled away hard enough that some people turned to look. Kevin, you need to leave me alone right now. His face changed completely and he dropped the flowers on the floor. You're making a huge mistake. You think you can do better than me? You think anyone else is going to want you? I went back upstairs shaking and told my manager what happened. She said if he came back, she'd call security. 2 days later, he was waiting by my car when I left work. I saw him leaning against my door and turned around to go back inside, but he saw me and ran over. Why are you doing this to me? He yelled loud enough that people in the parking garage stopped and stared. I gave you everything. I love you more than anyone ever will. A security guard came out and told him he needed to leave the property immediately. Kevin left, but he stared at me the entire time he was walking away. That night, I texted him that if he contacted me one more time, I was getting a restraining order. He responded within seconds. You'll regret this. If I can't have you, no one will. I screenshot the message and showed my best friend. She told me to go to the police immediately, but I kept thinking maybe he'd just calm down and move on if I ignored him. 3 days later, I was walking to my car after work in the parking garage when I heard footsteps behind me. I turned around and Kevin was there holding a bottle. I told you you'd regret it, he said. Then he threw it in my face. The pain was unlike anything I'd ever felt in my life. I was screaming and couldn't see anything, and people were running over asking what happened. Someone called an ambulance. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks and had 4 surgeries. The left side of my face was completely destroyed. The doctors told me the scarring would be permanent, and there was nothing they could do to fix it. Kevin was arrested that same day and charged with aggravated assault. My parents came to visit me in the hospital, and I thought they'd be horrified and angry at what he'd done to me. Instead, my mom sat on the edge of my bed and said, Kevin's lawyer called us. He wants to send you a letter apologizing for what happened. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I don't want anything from him. I don't want to hear his name ever again. My dad cleared his throat and looked uncomfortable. Honey, he made a terrible mistake, but he clearly loves you very much. People do crazy things when they're in love. Maybe you should at least hear him out. I stared at them thinking I must have misunderstood. He threw acid in my face. He did this to me on purpose. My mom took my hand and squeezed it. I know, and that was very wrong. But you need to think about your future now. You're disfigured. No man is going to want to be with you looking like this. You need to be realistic about your options. I felt like I was in a nightmare and couldn't wake up. These were my parents, the people who were supposed to protect me, and they were telling me I was too ugly for anyone but my abuser to love. Kevin still wants to be with you, my dad said quietly. He called us crying and saying he'd do anything to make this right, that he wants to marry you and take care of you. Maybe you should consider giving him another chance because this might be your only one. The words made me want to throw up. My mom nodded with pity in her eyes. This might be your only opportunity for love, for marriage, for children. You can't throw that away because of one mistake he made. He's sorry, and he still loves you. I looked at my mother's face and realized I didn't recognize the person sitting in front of me. Get out, I said. My mom reached for my hand again. Sweetie, we're just trying to help you understand reality. I pulled my hand away. The reality is that I'd rather be alone for the rest of my life than spend one more second with the man who did this to me. And if you think I should, then you're just as sick as he is. Get out and don't come back. I testified at his trial and he got 30 years. I haven't spoken to my family since that day in the hospital. I'm engaged now to a man who thinks I'm beautiful even with my scars.